Hi, today we're here with Judge ABRAM Frank Reynolds. He's a senior judge at the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas in the 1st Judicial District of Pennsylvania. It's gotten to be a rather big mouthful. Judge, welcome, and thank you for helping us in our oral history project. Can we start out by finding out a little bit about your background?
Yes. I come from a very, very poor family in upstate New York. And I left Binghamton, New York when I was 18. I went into the military for 12 years, and I thought that the military was the only place to be.
Mm-hmm.
I left there when I was 30 and went to college and grad school, finally law school, and came to Philadelphia, which is where I met you back in 1972, and we formed a friendship that has lasted till now and will always continue.
I hope so.
That's my background in a package.
Yeah, that is quite a package. I didn't realize that you were in the service for so long before.
Yeah, I was in Vietnam in 65, 66, and 67.
All right.
Separate tours, not.
Okay. How did it come about that you decided that you wanted to be a judge? I know that you were a lawyer, a practicing lawyer.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I got married and I had a child,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to have a reliable schedule so I could raise this boy.
Mm.
And I had a girl also, but I was with my wife at that time.
Yeah.
So I knew that I wanted to have stability, so I ran for the judiciary.
Okay.
Ran 3 times, and finally I won.
Mm.
But I loved being a lawyer. But being a judge was something great to me because I got to work with children, and it has always been a passion of mine to help kids find their way.
Yeah, and you're known as that type of judge. I mean, I have to say that we met in juvenile court in '72, and for the next 19 years I worked with you over there.
Yeah.
And I was always proud of you. I was proud of you as a friend and as a judge and somebody I worked with.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. People know it when they come into your courtroom, and they don't forget it soon. It's important with these young guys. Has the practice of law, do you think, although it may be not, I don't know, has the practice of law changed over the years since you began compared to now?
I can't say that it has changed so much as it has altered itself with society's alterations.
Mm.
I think that we're not anywhere near as formal as we were.
Okay, right.
That there was a time when lawyers and judges were so looked up to, and now, rightly, I think we're more looked across at.
Mm.
People see us as being humans that you can talk to in a normal fashion. I used to have incredible fear of judges. I did.
Me too.
And people don't fear me. Many of my friends are just normal people. In fact, most of them are.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. I think judges are allowed to be human now.
And I know that when it was hard for me to break the habit of calling you judge, even though we had been friends before you had been a judge. And you kept on insisting to me that your first name was not Judge. And so I finally learned today, at least I put it into practice, to call you Frank. And it doesn't mean I don't respect you as much. It just means that we're friends, that's all. Have there been any particular moments during your time as a judge that stand out in your mind, or eras, or anything?
Yeah, one of the biggest moments of my career as a judge was a case came in front of me where 3 white boys had had sex with a 12-year-old black girl. And obviously, since they were 15 and she was 12,
Yeah.
it was statutory rape. I couldn't find a place to keep them to await trial.
Okay.
Because in Philadelphia, if I had to put those white boys in the youth study center,
Right.
they would have been brutalized and raped. And I couldn't find any other place to put them because none of the private institutions would hold them. The people of Philadelphia wanted me to put them in the youth study center.
Yeah.
And they put incredible pressure on me. They called me all kinds of names and so forth because I wouldn't. But I found in myself something that everybody looks for and hopes to find, and that is the unwillingness to give in to social pressure
Here,
and do the wrong thing. And I've always been very proud of that because they ate me alive.
Yeah, I remember the furor
Yeah.
that erupted in the news. And I congratulate you for standing your ground, too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you think that's a lesson that maybe that you could impart to today's judges or people who want to become judges or even lawyers today?
I believe that most people, when confronted with that kind of pressure, they either find themselves or find it in themselves or it isn't there. I don't think that imparting anything to anyone in that situation
Okay.
would help. I think that most people who have the desire to be a judge want to be a judge for the right reason.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm wondering if there's something that you could, I don't want to make it to sound too light, but something that you could tell somebody who's just starting out and thinking of becoming a judge that might help them in their career on the bench once they reach the bench.
Yes, there is. Never, never, never compromise your ideals. Because if you do, sooner or later, you'll find that you made a mistake. And it's such a precious thing to have as a memory if you do it right.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I imagine so. And it's a lot less worrisome, too, I would think, after the fact. You know you've done the best of your ability.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and stuck by your guns.
Yeah.
I'm going to deviate from these standardized questions a little bit, if you don't mind. But since you're a unique judge to me, you're a judge that establishes a bridge with the people that are appearing before you. And a lot of judges don't necessarily do that, but you definitely do. You're a communicator. And when you have very specialized kinds of cases when they come before you in juvenile court, when you have, and I know that all the cases are different, but to some extent, can you describe what it's your intent to do when you get a young juvenile offender like the fellows I used to bring before you? What you're trying to do with those young people?
I like that question, Lenny, because it has to do with everything that I am. What I'm trying to do when a child comes in front of me, male or female, is to make them understand what is expected of themselves from their society and to make them want to do that which is expected of them. And I have done a lot of that.
True. I mean, it seems as though that one part would be tricky. Make them. I mean, they can.
Well, that has to do with giving them a role model.
Okay.
I let them see how comfortable I am with them,
Yeah.
and as a result, myself, And I make them understand that it is necessary for them to find themselves.
Okay.
And I encourage them to do the right thing. I really wouldn't have done this work so long if I didn't believe that I had succeeded
And believe
in a
it,
lot
yeah.
of cases.
You can tell when being in the room in front of you, you can tell that you absolutely believe in what you're doing. And that was sort of where I was going, the place that you came to. There's no doubt in my mind, nor I don't think in the doubt of anybody else's, there's no doubt in anybody else's mind when they appear before you, that you absolutely believe in what you're doing and how you're trying to help them. And that's a really important thing.
Thank you, Lenny.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? I mean, I know I've just touched on the surface of a few things.
Oh, I think not, except I really loved this job. I really loved what it allowed me to do, and I'm not sure I could have found it anywhere else.
Well,
So,
you've done great good.
thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Judge Frank Reynolds.